Time is running out, Commanders. An explosive rookie wants to break records. But will Dan Quinn give him the ball before Ekelerjadon sinks them? While that veteran WR bleeds in the infirmary, two young killers wait to take the field. And if we don't change now, even the most epic Hail Mary will fall on deaf ears. And don't even talk about a kicker. 6 points lost scream what everyone's holding back. Do you think we can win with ghosts in key positions? This is not a drill. Subscribe now. I'll reveal where the franchise will fail and how we save the season before it's too late. Like pressure for them to hear this voice. Look, I know we're all upset about Austin Ekeler's injury. But let me tell you something you may not want to hear. This could be the best thing that ever happened to Bill Krosky-Merritt and our offense in general. Yeah, you heard me right. I believe this 7th round kid has something special. And now he'll finally get the chance to prove it. Krosky-Merritt is already our leader in rushing yards with 99 yards on only 14 carries and 1 touchdown. Do you know what that means? He's averaging over 7 yards per carry. Ekeler, with all due respect, was averaging less than that. Now I ask you, didn't we need more of this rookie from the start? But here's what really excites me about this kid. Throughout the training camp and preseason, Krosky-Merritt was the topic of conversation. Reporters couldn't stop talking about his practice explosions, about how he was leaving linebackers eating dust, about how his field vision was almost supernatural for a rookie. And I kept wondering, why aren't we giving this phenomenon more chances? The reality is Ekeler was coming off a tough season with the Chargers where he lost explosiveness, where he was no longer the dynamic player we knew in his prime years. We signed him because we needed a veteran, because we needed experience, but maybe what we really needed was hungry youth. And Krosky-Merritt carries that hunger with every run. Look, I've reviewed all of this kid's plays in these first 2 weeks, and what I see is a runner who understands the game at a level you wouldn't expect from a 7th round rookie. His patience behind the offensive line is extraordinary. He doesn't rush into gaps, he waits for them to develop. And when he sees the opportunity, he explodes with an acceleration that leaves defenses wondering what happened. Dan Quinn told us that replacing Ekeler will require a team effort, and I agree. But here's my point. Krosky-Merritt has the opportunity to establish himself as the future of our ground game. This kid has speed, has vision, and most importantly, he has hunger. I'm telling you this, the best running backs in the NFL emerge when they have to, not when everything is served on a silver platter. And you know what else I like about this situation? That now Jaden Daniels will have to rely more on his legs and his arm, instead of depending so much on that escape valve that Ekeler represented. Daniels has the skills to be an elite dual-threat quarterback, but maybe he'd been playing too conservatively because he knew he had Ekeler there to bail him out. Now he's going to have to be more creative, more aggressive, and I think that can take him to the next level. The organization signed Chase Edmonds to the practice squad. They're bringing back Chris Rodriguez Jr., and they might give opportunities to Donovan Edwards. But I firmly believe that Krosky-Merritt will be the answer. This kid has already demonstrated that he can carry the ball effectively. And now he'll have to show that he can be that escape valve for Jaden Daniels in the passing game. Here's the real test for Krosky-Merritt. Can he become a complete weapon in the passing game? Ekeler had 7 reception targets in just 2 games, meaning Daniels trusted him constantly on 3rd downs in pressure situations, in those moments where you need to make a play. Krosky-Merritt will have to earn that trust quickly, but I've seen enough of this kid in practice to know he has the necessary soft hands. During camp, he was making spectacular receptions out of the backfield, he was running precise routes, and most importantly, he was showing that natural chemistry with Daniels that can't be taught. That connection was already there, it just needed the opportunities to show it in real games. The true challenge will be pass blocking and football IQ. Ekeler had years of experience reading defenses. He knew exactly when to chip a blitzing linebacker. He knew when to break off his reception route to give Daniels an escape option. Krosky-Merritt will have to learn all that on the fly under the primetime lights, with playoffs on the line. But here's why I have faith in this kid. 7th round rookies who make it to active rosters don't get there by chance. These are players who've had to fight for everything in their lives, who've had to prove their worth at every level of football. Krosky-Merritt comes from a college program where he was their guy, where the entire offense ran through him, where he learned to shoulder enormous expectations. And most importantly, this kid has that chip on his shoulder that makes great runners dangerous. He knows that 255 players were selected before him in the draft. He knows many experts thought he didn't have the size or speed to compete in the NFL. Every time he touches the ball, he plays with something to prove. And that mentality can be unstoppable when channeled correctly. Now I'm telling you this. Ekeler's injury could be exactly what we needed to discover we had a diamond in the rough all this time. If Krosky Merritt can handle the increased workload, if he can become that safety blanket for Daniels, and if he can maintain that explosive production he's shown in limited doses, we might be witnessing the birth of a new star in Washington. And honestly, part of me wonders if Dan Quinn already knew this could happen. Maybe Ekeler's injury isn't the tragedy we all thought it was, but the opportunity that Krosky Merritt and this offense needed to reach their true potential. Time will tell, but I bet my money on this hungry rookie over any veteran we could have picked up from free agency. And here comes the second bombshell I have for you. And this one really frustrates me because it represents everything wrong with our approach to certain positions. Noah Brown, the Hail Mary hero against Chicago, is becoming our biggest availability problem. And I'm gonna tell you why this is more serious than you think and why we need to change our philosophy completely. Let's start with the hard facts. Brown injured his groin against Green Bay, and this is just the latest in an endless series of injuries defining his career more than any spectacular play he's ever made. Last year, he ended his season prematurely with a kidney injury that required surgery against Tennessee. During this year's mandatory minicamp, he was carted off the field with knee complications and didn't return until week 1. Now this, I ask you, at what point can we trust this player to be there when we need him most? But here's what really bothers me. It's not just the injuries, it's how these injuries are affecting his game when he is available. Look at the brutal numbers. In 2 games this season, Brown has only 3 receptions for 36 yards. That's an average of 12 yards per reception for a receiver who's supposed to be our deep threat, who's supposed to be that vertical threat opening up the field for the rest of the offense. But the worst part isn't the mediocre stats. It's the missed opportunities at crucial moments. That terrible drop on 3rd down against the Packers wasn't just any ball. It was a situation where we needed to keep a drive alive, where we needed to keep our defense rested, where we needed to show we could compete against a playoff team like Green Bay. And here's my theory. I believe Brown is playing scared. He's so worried about the next injury that he's not playing with the confidence and aggression an NFL receiver needs. He's thinking about protecting himself instead of attacking the ball. He's avoiding contact instead of fighting for extra yards. And that's deadly for a receiver who no longer has the elite speed he once had. Dan Quinn already admitted that Brown is unlikely to play in week 3 against Las Vegas. But here's my most important point. While Brown is in the trainer's room dealing with yet another injury, Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane are hungry for opportunities. And I believe when they get them, they're going to prove that the future of our receiver room lies in youth, not injury-prone veterans. McCaffrey already gave us a preview of what he can do against Green Bay. That 19-yard reception in the 4th quarter wasn't just a cosmetic play in garbage time. It was a rookie showing composure under pressure, showing secure hands in traffic, showing exactly what we need from our receiver position. And that 2-point conversion was pure determination, the kind of clutch play you need from your receivers in important moments. And Jalen Lane. This kid has been impressing all season in practice. Coaches can't stop talking about his route running, his football IQ, his ability to find soft spots in zones. These are exactly the types of young and hungry players we need to bet on. Instead of continuing to depend on veterans who can't stay healthy, here's the brutal reality no one wants to admit. This organization has relied too heavily on veteran stopgaps in key positions because they've consistently failed to develop young talent. But McCaffrey and Lane represent a chance to change that narrative, to finally bet on players who can grow with Jaden Daniels, who can be part of the long-term solution. The problem with Brown goes beyond his individual injuries. It's symptomatic of an organizational mindset that prefers the supposed safety of known veterans over the explosive potential of youth. But how safe can a player be who has missed significant time in each of the last 3 seasons? And here's what frustrates me the most. Brown's talent when healthy is not in question. That Hail Mary against Chicago was genuinely spectacular. It was exactly the kind of play that can change a franchise. But one spectacular play per season isn't worth it if you can't count on that player to be available for the other 16 games. The modern NFL doesn't forgive unavailability. Every team in this league has to deal with injuries, but the successful teams are those that can develop a reliable depth chart, that can have multiple players capable of producing in any position. Continuing to bet on Brown is betting against the odds. And that's not a winning strategy. McCaffrey has the family pedigree. He comes from a winning culture, and most importantly, he has that hunger only rookies who know this could be their only chance to establish themselves in the NFL have. Lane has also shown flashes in every limited opportunity he's had, and both players represent exactly what we need: youth, hunger, and availability. I believe if any of these guys can establish themselves as productive and reliable in the coming weeks, Brown's role in this offense will be in serious jeopardy. And honestly, maybe that's exactly what we need to finally make the transition to a receiver room built for the future, not the past. The question isn't if Brown has talent. The question is if we can keep affording to rely on a player who seems incapable of staying healthy for an entire season. In my opinion, the answer is no, and it's time for this organization to make the difficult decision to bet on youth and availability over familiarity and nostalgia. And now comes the news that bothers me the most, because this was completely avoidable and represents exactly the type of questionable decision making that has kept this franchise from relevance for so long. Matt Gay is costing us games, while a kicker we could have had is winning matches for other teams with just 24 hours notice. This is unforgivable, and I'll explain exactly why. Let's start with the brutal facts from the game against Green Bay. Gay missed 2 crucial kicks of 52 and 58 yards, leaving 6 points on the field in a game we lost by exactly 7 points. I tell you this, with those 2 field goals made, we'd be talking about a victory that would put us at 2. And with real momentum heading into week 3, instead of a frustrating loss that has us questioning everything about this team. But here's what really has me furious. Dan Quinn defended the decision to attempt that 58-yard kick before halftime, saying it was within the range they'd set for Gay. Quinn literally said, "That was the make line we had for the end of halftime. We thought we were right in the right spot." Now I ask you, how the heck do you set a 58-yard range for a kicker who clearly hasn't shown the necessary consistency from that distance? That's not just poor preparation, it's coaching negligence. It's like giving the go-ahead to a quarterback to attempt a 60-yard pass when you know his arm doesn't reach that far consistently. Gay had already missed one from 52 yards earlier in the same game. How can you see your kicker miss from that distance and then ask him to kick from even farther in a crucial moment before halftime? It's decision-making that makes me question if we really understand our own players' limitations. Meanwhile, kickers like Brandon Aubrey are literally winning games for their teams on Sundays. Aubrey nailed clutch kicks that were the difference between victory and defeat for Dallas. That's the difference between having a reliable kicker and having a questionable one. Elite kickers win games. Mediocre kickers lose them, but here comes what really has me indignant, and this is the part that shows Adam Peters made a colossal mistake. John Parker Romo was available. The Patriots cut him because they decided to stick with their rookie Joey Sly, and they probably regret that decision right now. Romo was exactly the type of veteran and reliable kicker we needed, and he was there for any team to sign him. The Falcons signed him Saturday night before their Sunday night game against Minnesota. They gave him the chance to kick over Younghoe Koo, their established kicker, with literally 24 hours of preparation. And what happened? Romo went out and made all 5 kicks he attempted, including a crucial 54-yarder in a low-scoring defensive game where every point was pure gold. That 54-yard kick from Romo was at a moment when the game was on the line. Exactly the type of situation where you need your kicker to stand up and deliver. And he did with 24 hours notice in a stadium he didn't know, with a snapper and holder he'd never practiced with. That's what clutch kickers do. They deliver when you need them most. Now I ask you, why didn't Adam Peters bring in Romo at least for competition for Gay? The answer probably has to do with that fully guaranteed 1-year contract they gave Gay in the offseason. That guaranteed money is blinding them to the reality that this kicker simply isn't the answer for a team wanting to compete for the playoffs. Here are the numbers you need to understand about Gay. In his career, he's 65% from 50+ yards. That means he misses more than 1 in 3 kicks from that distance. In contrast, the best kickers in the league are connecting 80 to 85% from that same range. That 15 to 20% difference can be the difference between playoffs and staying home. But the problem goes beyond stats. It's the trust. When your offense is driving in the 4th quarter and gets to the opponent's 35-yard line, do you have complete confidence that your kicker can make it from 52 yards if they can't gain more yards? With Gay, I honestly don't have that confidence, and I'm sure the coaches don't have it completely either. That lack of trust affects play calling. Maybe Dan Quinn is being more conservative on 4th down because he doesn't trust Gay to make it from certain distances. Maybe they're forcing plays to gain extra yards they wouldn't need to gain with a more reliable kicker. Those marginal decisions can cost entire drives, and lost drives can cost entire games. In the modern NFL, 50 to 55-yard kicks are expected, not optional. The best teams in the league have kickers who can consistently make it from those distances, giving them enormous tactical flexibility. They can be more aggressive on offense because they know they have a reliable safety net. We don't have that luxury with Gay, and here's the most frustrating part. We knew this about Gay before signing him. His track record with the Rams showed exactly the same consistency problems from long distances. We're not discovering something new about this player. We're seeing exactly what we should have expected based on his record. I believe if Gay costs us another game in the coming weeks, this organization will have to make a difficult decision regardless of that guaranteed money. Because at the end of the day, what's worth more? The money you've already spent on a mediocre kicker, or the chance to compete for the playoffs with a kicker who can truly deliver in crucial moments. The difference between playoffs and staying home in the modern NFL often boils down to those 3 to 4 second moments where you need your kicker to stand up and deliver under maximum pressure. And right now, based on everything we've seen, I just don't trust Matt Gay to make those kicks when we need them most. That lack of confidence in such a critical position can ruin an entire season, and that's something we cannot afford with all the potential this roster has. Commanders, these 3 situations show us exactly where we are as an organization at this crucial point of the season. Ekeler's injury could be the opportunity Krosky Merritt needed to become a star. Brown's constant injuries might be exactly what McCaffrey and Lane need to establish themselves as the future of our receiver room. And Gay's inconsistency might be the wake-up call. We need to finally admit we made a mistake in that position. Is Krosky Merritt the answer we've been looking for in the ground game for years? Can McCaffrey and Lane seize this golden opportunity to prove that the future is in their hands? And how many more games are we going to let Gay cost us before making the difficult but necessary change? I want to hear all your opinions in the comments. Do you agree with me that these crises might be the opportunities we needed? Do you think it's time to fully bet on youth and hunger over experience and familiarity? This Burgundy and Gold community we've built here is more than just a YouTube channel. We are a family that lives and breathes for these Washington Commanders, that analyzes every decision, every play, every missed opportunity, and every moment of hope. Every opinion you share makes us stronger as fans, helps us better understand our team, and connects us in this crazy journey of being a Commanders fan. If this deep analysis made you see these situations from a different perspective, if it made you think beyond immediate reactions and understand the long-term implication, hit like so more Commanders can see it and join this crucial conversation. And if you haven't joined this family yet, what are you waiting for? Join us as we navigate every high and low of this season, as we analyze every coaching decision, every player performance, every front office move that can determine if this season is the breakthrough we've been waiting for or another missed opportunity. Because at the end of the day, win or lose, through the good times and the bad, through all the frustrations and all the hopes, we are in this together. This is our family. This is our team. And these are our Washington Commanders. And remember, hail to the Commanders.